What is going on to the AMC stock family? In today's video, we will be discussing the SEC, the NSCC, and also the DTC, as well as the 200 million secret short shares that are currently being sold as we speak right now. And I know the price has been down. That makes sense because there are right now a lot of selling positions, or in other words, there are a lot of people still selling AMC stock. So without further ado, let's just get started. Your time is extremely valuable. We got to prepare for tomorrow and also the next week. So if AMC squeezes to, let's say, whatever number you want, who pays for it? There isn't enough money, or at least this is a claim being stated right now. I see posts about the DTC and its so-called insurance everywhere, including on the subreddit. However, I firmly believe that there is a slight misunderstanding about what it is and how it works. There is no 50 or 30 or 60 trillion dollar insurance, and we are talking about the trillion-dollar level per se. What there is, however, is an obligation for defaults to be covered. Let's go back to the DTCC themselves and take a look. We will read from the Book of Disclosure Framework, page 84. So this is a reference from this page right here, exactly page 84. If after closing out and liquidating, right, this is very important, liquidating a defaulting member's positions, the NSCC were to suffer a loss, such as, let's say a loss would be first satisfied by the amounts on deposit to the clearing fund and eligible clearing fund securities pledged from another default member. Now, what exactly does this mean? That was a lot. Well, if a loss remains after applying the corporate contribution, which is a rule, the NSCC will allocate the remaining amount among members that were members on the first day of the applicable event period, ratably in accordance with the average daily required deposit to the clearing fund over the prior 70 business days or a shorter period of time that the member has been a member, divided by the sum of the average required fund deposited amounts of all the members subject to a loss allocation in such round. And each member must pay its allocation amount within 2 business days. I'm going to say this one more time. Within 2 business days of receiving notice of the amount. Now, I know that was a lot, and to some, this may not make sense. Don't worry though, AMC stock family, we will be breaking this down right now. So, in essence, right, because this is the breakdown, that non-defaulting member that we just talked about would ultimately take the fall for a defaulting member in which the money they pay could not satisfy the debt that they had to pay. In other words, the debt is much more than the amount that they initially paid. And so because they have more debt, that debt is ended up being divided amongst them in whatever way the DTCC understands or sees fit. So dividing against 2, well, this is going to be divided upon the members. So this is especially applicable to the people selling AMC stock right now. Because after all, remember guys, this is about the AMC short squeeze. There's a lot of controversy over whether these past few days has been already the short squeeze and whether this is going to be the end. And now some of the topics that people are talking about is, okay, if AMC stock does to have that short squeeze 2.0 or the mother of all short squeezes, when is it going to stop? And because that is a question being asked right now, there's an argument that there isn't enough money. So some people are trying to get out of AMC extremely quickly. However, I don't believe in this, and I am not a firm believer of this opinion. Rather, I'm a believer of buying and holding AMC, and the author of this Reddit thread believes the same. Now, here's why this author is not bearish on AMC. Bearish is when you believe that there's going to be a negative sentiment towards AMC or any underlying equity. He is actually bullish, and here's why. So he continues to say that in this way, this acts as an insurance. This is going to be insurance for the short sellers, and here's why. That is because you will pay into protection for your car, but if someone else has an accident, some of the money you pay into your policy will likely be going to help them, and vice versa if you were ever in an accident. The DTCC provides a tremendous amount of services for market makers and major institutions. Well, what do these people do? A lot of them sell a lot of positions like AMC and like GameStop, but some of them are actually bullish on AMC. We know that Charles Schwab and possibly even JP Morgan, they do have AMC shares. They do own equities for the long side and not for the selling side. Now, continuing on. Members in turn have some obligations to the DTCC. This is one of them. Now wait a minute, because the 30 or 50 or 60 trillion dollar figure that people throw around seems to derive from the total amount of money managed by the clearing corporation. In other words, how much money is being held and valued by all the members collectively, or in other words, by all the people that are selling an underlying equity, which in 2019 was around $50 trillion. BlackRock, a member of the DTCC, manages over $7 trillion in money alone. And so ultimately, this is the important part, AMC stock family. And in essence, who pays you is not your responsibility, nor is it something you should be worried about. And so in this AMC situation, and this even applies to GameStop, stress should not be an issue. And if it is, that should be actually treated as fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Or in other words, FUD, because it is trying to create a provoking feeling or stress you in amounts that makes you feel like you need to sell as fast as possible so that you can get out of AMC before it decides to crash downwards. And so this is a sentiment we do not want. And I repeat, this is the feeling that we do not want because the AMC stock family is actually extremely strong. If I'm not mistaken, we have almost 420,000 AMC stock members in this community. And so with that much of a powerful community, we cannot have a lot of us feeling any doubt or uncertainty. The price only went down just a couple points after rallying an insane amount in just 1 week. Let's just take that into consideration before we start stressing. And another member of this community decided to say that I've been following the above parameters and did a breakdown of AMC and the fundamentals and also some of the technicals. And so with that, he said that I stated earlier, this time I was also interested in the ranges and the parameters as well. In essence, we can see a total of 679,000 put contracts representing 67.9 million shares are being hidden in AMC's option chain. We know that this is a possibility, and not just with the option chains, but we know that this happens a lot in the equities market. There is something called the AMC Ortex, or just the Ortex in general, but it also applies to AMC. It applies to GameStop. And if you end up typing any ticker symbol you want, let's just say you want to understand more of Apple, so you decide to see the dark pool on Apple, that is certainly what you can do. And so with the AMC Ortex, a lot of the members have been finding out that there are a lot of dark pool manipulation that goes on, and essentially there's much more control in the dark pool than there is in the actual New York Stock Exchange. That is pretty insane in and of itself, but that is just the understanding that a lot of members have right now. So continuing on, he said that just under half, which would equal or equate to 31 million of those shares, are being hidden in put contracts with a strike of under $8 a share. For those guys that do not understand what this means, don't worry, we will break it down right now. A strike price of under $8 a share, with 31 million of these being put contracts, basically, these option holders believe that AMC stock will fall below $8 a share. That is how they make the most amount of money, or in other words, that is how they will capitalize the most off this option chain. And so by expiry, the closer AMC stock decides to go to $8 a share, the better for the option holder. That's why I'm saying this is completely insane, because then they would only make the most amount if it actually fell below $8 a share. Has AMC stock even went to $15 a share? No, not yet. And in my opinion, that is because a lot of us decide to uplift each other when we are feeling doubt. Our fellow AMC members in the comment section, we say, wait a minute, hold on. There's no reason to stress. There's no reason to panic. Just buy and hold. Now, this is just an example because I've certainly understood that this movement is like no other. Now, continuing on, he said that, like I said earlier, the OG shorter and the market maker are using deep out of the money puts opposed to deep in the money puts. This makes sense. And so when today's total is added to the 36.5 million shares worth of put options that expire worthless on July 16th, we can understand that the bare minimum of 116 million shares from the real short interest are being hidden has failed to deliver. And so here is where it gets more insane. When added to today's short interest of 85.5 million shares, it gives us a new minimum real short interest of almost 200 million shares, or almost a 40% short interest on the float. The reason why this is absolutely shocking is because this is almost half of the entire float of AMC. And so when it comes down to this, that means that almost half of the people invested in AMC stock are not actually invested, but rather they are betting on the downwards momentum or movement for AMC. And that negative price action, it's not like it's going to have no effect. It is certainly going to have some sort of effect on AMC. And because these are put options, because this is 40%, almost 50% of the entire float of AMC stock betting against AMC, we understand the strike price of $8 a share. That just means that right now there is a battle between the buyers and the sellers. And right now, in my opinion, I still think that the buyers are winning because we are not at even $30 a share. It may seem like we are, right? It may seem like the AMC buyers are losing, but in my opinion, certainly not, because we are closer to $40 than we are to $30 a share. So with that being said, AMC stock family, I still have a lot of conviction in this stock. I have yet to sell my AMC shares because I'm a firm believer that we will go higher. Now remember, I'm not a financial advisor, but with that being said, AMC stock family, in the comment section, make sure you guys uplift each other. Let's continue to push all this optimism so that we can have another short squeeze 2.0 on AMC stock. The more doubt we have, the more negativity, the hedge funds will use this against us to capitalize off of our fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So with that being said, AMC stock community, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next video.